Welcome to Session Sunday. Hi guys, it's Jack Edwards and today's session is going to be focusing around finishing. But before we get into this week's video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and if you missed last week's video, click on the link above. Okay, so moving into the first part of this week's session, we're going to be looking at a combination to finish from a wide area. We're going to have two different parts to this part of the drill, but before we get into it, let's have a look at how many players we've got this week and the equipment that we need. So we have 11 players, including our goalkeeper, so 10 outfield players and our keeper, but you can adapt it for more and less players. In terms of our equipment, we're mainly using balls, bibs, cones. If you have poles, we can use them, and then obviously you need a goal for the players to finish in, but if you don't have a goal, you can just use poles if you can to make the goal quite wide. So in terms of the setup for this part of the session, so the depth from the start here into the middle is going to be 10 yards and then a further 10 yards to the next cone here, and then you want to try and get it between 15 and 20 yards from goal, so then the player can have a nice touch in front into space before finishing. And then our width will be the same, 10 yards from each cone, so 10 yards from the widest cone here into the middle, 10 yards between each team, and then a further 10 yards here. Okay, so you've got 30 yards in total of width, 20 yards of depth for the players here, and then an extra 20 yards of depth, okay, for the players to use for space. So you're going to split them into two groups to start with. You can have them in the same colour bib, it doesn't really matter, but in order to split the teams up to know exactly where they are, it's nice to put them in two different colours. So how it's going to start here is that the ball's going to start with the deepest player here. So this way we're going to have our two balls, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to play out wide, okay, to our wide player who is going to be the person who's going to score. Okay, this is the first part of the drill, what we're looking at, who's then going to take a touch in and play into the central midfielder, okay, and then they're going to begin to follow their run across into here, okay, so it's timing what we're looking at. So once they played it in, time they're running here, because then this midfielder is going to play into what we're looking at as our striker, okay, who's going to pull off into space, okay, to play the ball, okay, this side, so then the player can make the run here across, so then the striker can set it for them on the run, so then they can go into space, drive forward, and then look to finish past the goalkeeper. Okay, so we're looking for that run from a wide position into space to get in behind the defence, okay, to then score. So then our movements, what we're looking at is the players will move up one each time. Okay, so the player who scored will obviously go to the back of the queue. The person who was striker will go out wide, so then they'll get a go with shooting. The player who's the central midfielder will move up one to the striker, and the player who started the drill will move up and be the central midfielder. So after this team's gone, the next team will go. Okay, so we're looking at just different angles, obviously coming off a different wide area, so the right and the left, so the teams can swap over. So obviously we're playing out wide, okay, we're playing as the central midfielder, okay, and then they're looking to play into the striker with that timed run. Once that ball's been played, that dart across into space to meet the ball, okay, take it forward, and then look to finish. And then we're going to move into the second part of the drill, okay, so both animations will follow. So what we're looking at now is, we're just looking at, instead of the midfielder playing into the striker, it's just going to be the opposite way around. Okay, so then the winger's going to do a similar movement, okay, but going to try and get around this player in here. Okay, so they're going to receive the ball out wide again, okay, they're going to take a touch, play into the winger, the striker, sorry, who's pulled out into space, okay. That will then mean that they're going to come back across, okay, to get behind the central midfielder, who's going to come in short to receive from the striker, leaving that space to come around, okay, so then when they receive it, they're going to play the ball in front of the winger who's running in again to then go in front of goal and then look to finish past the goalkeeper. So what we're looking at in here with the finish is a nice touch out the feet, okay, to move on to the ball at pace and then looking to finish, okay, decisively and being clinical in the final third. So again, our movements will be the striker will move out wide, the central midfielder will move up to be the striker, the player who started the drill becomes the central midfielder, and the player who's finished, okay, will go to the back of the queue. And then obviously the next team will go again, so we'll have a look at it out here. So it's coming out wide, playing into the striker, okay, we've pulled out here, and then what we're looking for then is the central midfielder obviously to come short with that run behind them. Okay, so we're going to be taking the opposition players away, okay, causing confusion for that ball to be played in, for the player to move in and then look to finish. We will now move into our first animation before moving on to part 2 of this week's session. Now moving into part 2 of this week's session, we're now moving into a finishing circuit. So we've got 8 different finishes. So we're working on finishing from different angles, okay, with different runs, both centrally and from wide areas. Okay, so there's a lot of different things to take in now, so make sure that you watch the animation, and if you need to, rewind and watch it again. Okay, so we're gonna have our 10 players split on different cones. In terms of the distances between them all, what I would say is have at least 10 yards between each one. Okay, and you're just looking at creating different angles, okay, so that the players aren't just straight all the time. So you want to try and maybe get 10 yards here and then maybe 3 or 4 yards across for the ones that are on an angle here in the wide areas. The players in the central areas here can be off the same, so 10 to 15 yards maximum. You don't want them too far away. And then same with the wide areas as well. If you're using a normal pitch, okay, you want the players in the wide areas to be just around the edge of the box, okay, and everything else inside the box, so you can judge your width from there. So each player, so these 2 players will have a ball, this player will have a ball, these 3 players and the 2 players out wide. The only 2 players who don't start with the ball, as if it's our 2 fullbacks here. Okay, so we're gonna have 8 finishes in total. Okay, so we're gonna start here with our striker. Okay, so the striker is gonna take the ball out their feet, okay, and they're gonna play to the central midfielder. Okay, so they're gonna receive it this side. We're then gonna look for the central midfielder to take the ball forward, okay, and then our striker to spin off into space, to then receive it on the run to take the ball across, and then look to finish. Okay, so that's our first finish. Then obviously the players go back into position, okay. Our next one will then be our left-sided player here, all right, our left winger, who's then gonna start with the ball. They're gonna play to the left central midfielder, who opens out, okay, and is gonna end up playing to the right winger here. Okay, so but what we're looking for is these 2 players in here to swap. So when they take that touch across, we're looking for the striker to begin to pull out, okay, and the right winger to come in, okay, so we're causing a bit of confusion, creating a bit of space, and then our left winger will begin to curve their run to when the ball comes into here now, when this player's on the run, we're looking for a set into space instantly for the player to come off the line, get in behind the defence, okay, drive towards goal quickly, and then look to finish again. That's our second finish done. Okay, so then the players will go back to where they were, our front 3. Our next finish then starts with our left centre midfielder, okay, who's going to take the ball out, okay. They're going to open out here, okay, they're going to play across to the right winger, okay. This then triggers the run for the fullback. The fullback's then going to get on the move with our, another right-sided player, okay, coming out, okay, pulling out here, okay, to create some space. So then the right winger's going to play into them there, then we're looking for a first time set into space. Whilst that set's happening, okay, we're looking for our left winger and striker to react by starting to make their run into the box, okay, with our right winger then making a late run. So then we could have the left winger making a run to the back post, our striker making a run centrally to go maybe front or back, okay, this fullback taking a touch out the feet into space, with the right winger arriving late, ball delivered into the box and looking for a finish. But what we're wanting is the player who isn't finishing, so the left winger and the right winger, anticipating that the goalkeeper might save it, so then it comes back out and then we can still try and finish in there. Okay, so that's our third finish. Then the players will go back to where they were. So our striker again, our winger's back there, and then we're going to start instantly with the winger. So this is just a quick crossing and finish. So then the winger here is going to play into the right winger. So our right side of the player is then just going to make a run up into space. We want this one to go really towards the touchline, so a really deep pass. Okay, so we're looking to play right in front for it to be a first time cut back. Okay, so again, we're looking for that late run in the box from the right winger, striker and left winger making a run in for that cut back. Okay, and then again, we're looking for that first time finish. So a few of the last 3 finishes will be the same, but from the opposite side. But the 5th finish, okay, instead of the striker finishing, it's going to be the centre midfielder. So the centre midfielder will play into the striker, okay, who will then take a touch, okay, with the centre midfielder, then coming into here to receive it back, okay, to go in towards goal, and then go and finish. Okay, so making that burst and run from midfield. Okay, so they're playing in, okay, making a run forward, set by the striker to touch and then finish. And then our 6th finish will be the same as the second one, but except it'll be the right winger finishing this time. So they'll play right wing to right centre midfielder, play across to the left winger, who of course has made that run with the striker swapping, with that curved run from our right winger coming into here to receive into space, to go in and then look to finish. Okay, so it's important that we speak to the players about that movement to create spaces if there was defenders there. Our 7th finish, okay, starts with the left centre midfielder, the right centre midfielder, but it's the same as our 3rd finish. So it's coming out, so we're focusing on that full-back run. When that ball comes to here, okay, then we're looking for our full-back to get on the move, for it to be set back to our left centre midfielder, okay, into our left winger, set into there, okay, to then go boom, into space. We're looking for that striker's run, our right winger's run, they can cross over with our late run in the box from the left winger, okay, for our delivery, and then we're looking to finish in there. Okay, so again, with the movements, it's about timing the movements for when the ball's travelling, okay, not being in the box too early for the players who are going to be in there, because if we're standing waiting, it's not realistic. We want to make sure it's a nice timed run into the box. It's one of us arriving late as well, so with the ball goes somewhere we're not expecting, we've also got someone to attack it. And then again, our final finish will literally be our left winger plays into our other left forward, okay, and then they're making a run, okay, so it's a pass right in front, testing them, okay, physically to get in there, okay, for that cut back, and then we're looking for the finish, but we might again get that save from the keeper, it might come out, we want the players in there to anticipate it. So how you can maybe change the players up is have, you know, the 2 wide players out here can swap with these 2 players in here. Same again, the 2 central players can swap with 2 wide players, however you want to do it. But obviously, if you've got right-sided players and left-sided players over here, you want to try and keep them out there because it's more realistic for them. So just see fit with what players you've got, and again, with the spaces in between, what age group you're working with. We will now move into our next animation before moving on to this week's 4-corner model. Okay, so taking a look at this week's 4-corner model, starting off with technical and tactical, one of the main things we're looking at is our accuracy of our passes. Okay, so obviously in the first part of the session, we were looking at playing passes in front of a player on the run. Again, with the passes that we're playing in part 2, what we've just seen, we want them into feet. Okay, we want them fizzed in. Okay, so we've got to make sure that these passes are accurate, they're executed well, so that the drill, the actual moves can flow quickly. Okay, if someone does make a mistake or a bad touch, we just adapt to it. Okay, we have to miss somebody out, and if someone's made them run early, okay, and we need to play them quicker, that's fine. We just adapt to a game scenario, but we want the players to be making sure that they're always providing that quality as much as they can. And then we're looking at our movement to receive. So again, timing of our runs. So our movement to receive the ball, obviously in part 1, we don't want the players, as soon as they've passed the ball, okay, sprinting into one area where they're going to be, making sure they're timing it so they know exactly who's receiving the ball, where it's going to come from, okay, so that when it's in a match scenario, they know, okay, I don't have to sprint somewhere straight away, I know exactly where I'm going. Can we maybe get a double movement? So go out to come in, okay, go backwards, then come forwards, okay, so making sure that the players are always knowing that, you know, don't stand still, create some space for themselves to receive the ball, so treat it like a game situation. And then finally, being clinical in the final third. So when we're getting them opportunities in front of goal, okay, we're taking them quickly, we're being decisive, okay, we're not hesitating in front of goal, we're seeing where we want to put the ball in the corner and we're doing it quickly, okay, because it gives the keeper less chance to save it. In terms of our psychological corner, having confidence, so confidence on the ball, playing the passes, confidence with, you know, playing into space, and then finally, confidence in front of goal as well. So having that self-belief as a player to go in and finish, okay, knowing that you're going to score, knowing that you want to put it in the bottom corner, in the top corner, but then obviously looking at our decision making, okay, doing that quickly, okay, so our decision of, okay, I'm going to go out to come in, doing it quickly, not leaving it too late, and then obviously we'll move into our communication, but the decisions have got to be made quickly, so then we've got more chance of scoring, more chance of the passes going where we want them to. So then in a game, we're doing the same things. And then finally, our composure. So composure on the ball, okay, so being calm in possession, okay, being calm in front of goal, so just relaxing in those pressure areas, okay, so we've got to encourage each other, which again we'll look at in our social corner, okay, so encouraging our teammates, okay, so that they feel more relaxed on the ball. In terms of our physical corner, firstly looking at power, okay, so power of our passes, okay. Some passes might just need to be put delicate in, so the ones going into space for someone to run into. Some of them might need to be fizzed in, okay, so passes out wide, passes into the channel for someone to run onto, and then finally the power on our shots. So we're looking for it to not give the keeper a chance, basically, okay. So when we're putting it in the corners, okay, keeping it low, okay, but making sure we're hitting the ball hard, we're getting a good strike on the ball, we're following through, doing the right technique, our knee over the ball all the times. Looking at our speed, more in terms of our movements, okay, so making sure we're moving quick off the ball, okay, not too quick in terms of we're just sprinting somewhere straight away, but knowing that we need to be quick in terms of getting somewhere and then getting out and then getting into our next space that we're going to be vacating, okay, so not being too slow, but knowing that it's got to be quick in terms of we're not giving the defender a chance, but we're also not getting too far ahead of the ball. And then finally, our body shape. Okay, so we're receiving the ball from a player essentially. Okay, we know that we're going to be playing it back to them. Okay, that's fine. But having our body shape so that if there is a defender there, we're not just facing the same way. So having the ability to open out. So then if somebody does play a bad pass and we're standing straight on, okay, we know that we've got to go back there. Whereas if we're opened out, we can easily adapt to it, okay, maybe go down the line. So it's important with our body shape. We're always giving ourselves our options to receive the ball in different angles, okay, and then the ability to burst out into space as well. Finally, our social corner, starting off with communication, okay, so giving players lots of information in terms of where we want them to go, okay, tell them to finish quickly, okay, and then looking into our support and our encouragements, which was obviously giving them more confidence, okay, giving them that composure as well. But the most important thing is always talking as a group in terms of a coach giving them good instructions, and then the players themselves talking to each other, because they've got to get used to that on the pitch. So the vital information we're looking for here is just telling people to take a touch, try and telling people to take the time, moving into space, okay, so we could be telling someone what shoulder you're coming off, is it the left, is it the right, do you want it into space, do you want it into feet, little bits of communication to help the player who's actually on the ball know where you're going to be. Now moving into part 3 of this week's session, we're now moving into the first of our small-sided games. Okay, we're looking on getting the ball through midfield to then go and attack quickly in the final third. Okay, so no one's going to be going into the final third until the attacking team have got the ball into this middle zone here. In terms of the setup, we're going 40 yards of depth, okay, 15 yards in each of the end zones, we'll say here. Okay, so our final third here, and this is like our defensive third kind of, and then 10 yards in the middle zone. Okay, so our middle third. So the Blues are going to be the team starting attacking. Okay, so the Greens have got 2 goals. So what they're trying to do is win the ball back and then score in one of these goals. That means they become the attacking team. Okay, so there can only be the same amount of Greens, okay, in this area here as there is Blues. So if there's only 2 Blues in this third here, only 2 Greens can go in. But then if an extra Blue comes in to try and help out, okay, then an extra Green can come in. Okay, so what we're trying to do is create space in here, okay, to receive it, to then go and attack in this zone here. So we're looking at our combination play again to get the ball in the final third and then be clinical. So then if they score, they'll get the ball again. So what we're looking at, the coach will play in, okay, to the Blues. We're going to try and manoeuvre the ball into the middle. Okay, so these players here free to move in and out wherever they want. So when the ball's received in here, can we then look to get runs, okay, forward from our attackers, create space from it again, an overlap and run to get the ball into that final third, and then we're looking to attack quickly, okay, get the ball across and then look to score. So we could be getting it from, you know, balls across the box, small crosses, or it could be intricate play where we receive the ball, we play in, we play back, we play out, we're driving towards goal, and then we're looking for a quick finish. Okay, so it's all about the speed of our play. It's got to be very quick, okay? Again, accuracy of our pass has got to be good. It's going to be played in front of somebody, it's going to be played to their feet, our speed of movement, okay? And then again, being clinical in that final third. So then if we did score, okay, as soon as they get some players back into the middle and back into this final third, like defensive third here, coach is going to play in again. Okay, we're looking to get that ball, we're looking to manoeuvre it. So we could have literally a player come into this area here, okay, receive on the run. Okay, with this player getting out the way, okay, we're getting runs, lots of lots of interchange, okay? And we're getting players in here running, okay? So the greens are just obviously looking actively to try and press the ball to win it back, and we can instantly go and attack. As soon as that ball's come into the middle, we're looking to attack in there. So we're looking to create space in these areas, okay? So they go and attack into the final third and be clinical. And like we say, if the greens win the ball back, okay, and they're successful in getting the ball into the small side of goal, then they're going to be the attacking team and we'll swap over. But again, if the greens win it back, we're looking for the blues to react quickly, okay, get players behind the ball, look to win it back into the middle third, okay, and then go and attack as quick as we can. Okay, so the things what we've been doing in terms of our combinations, players coming off the line out wide, okay, moving the ball quickly into wide areas and crossing, okay, intricate passes in midfield. So again, we could be receiving the ball in here, okay, the striker pulls out, okay, half takes the man with him, okay, we get a run from behind here, and then this player comes inside, okay, that means that we can either drive into space or can we place someone in behind to look to finish. So similar to what we've been doing in part 1 and part 2, but we're just putting it into a small-sided game. We will now move into our next animation before moving on to the final part of this week's session. Okay, so moving into part 4 of this week's session, we're now moving to our final small-sided game. Okay, so it's based on a quick finishing drill. Okay, so lots of transitions as well. So it's going to be 3v3 in the middle, with both teams having 2 players on the outside. In terms of the setup, the maximum setup that we're looking for is a 20 by 20 box, okay? So at the start, there might be a bit more space, but as players gradually join in, okay, there'll be less room and less space available. So what we're looking at is the coach is going to play into one of the teams, okay? If the team score, they get an extra player to come in, but they can then use the floaters on the outside as well, whilst they're obviously out here, okay? So it's 5v5 in total, but 3v3 in the middle. So let's say we play into the greens, okay? The blues obviously got 3v3 in there, so they're going to look to win back. If they win it back, they're trying to score themselves instantly in the goal. Okay, so the greens manoeuvre the ball, okay, so we're looking for lots of movement, okay, lots of interchange. They get the ball out wide, okay, this player can then be tackled out here. But what we're looking for is to move the ball into space, okay, so then find a quick route to goal, okay, and then we're looking to finish. If they score, okay, coach starts with the ball again, okay, if they miss, the coach will start with the ball again, but the other team will get the ball. So if the keeper saves it, it goes wide, or the ball just goes wide or over the bar, or it's off target, then the other team will get the ball. Okay, so they're just looking to either win it back or stop the other team from scoring. But let's say the Greens score, okay, that means they'll have one more player in the middle, so they've got to overload out here, but they've got less floaters, okay, so now it becomes more in terms of quick, intricate play in here. They haven't got as many options out wide. Again, if they get the ball again, and then they look to play, and they get it wide, and then they get a run into the box, and they look to score, and they finish again, they'll then get another player in here, so then it'll be 5v3, so then the Blues are looking, obviously, to stop them from scoring, to win it back and then score. So then if the Blues win it back and score, they will then get an extra player in, okay, and the Greens will lose a player. So every time your team scores, you gain a player from the outside. Every time you concede, if you've got more than 3 players in the box, you lose a player. Okay, so the minimum it will always be is 3v3. The maximum we can get to is 5v5. So we're looking at, there's lots of overloads and there's lots of opportunities for 4v4 with floaters on the outside. In terms of the floaters, they can move anywhere around. Okay, so they don't have to stay in wide areas. One can stay wide, one could come centrally. So obviously then if the Blues, let's say they won it back in here in the 5v3 scenario, or let's say the Greens missed and the Blues got it and scored, okay, one of the Greens will come out, one of the Blues would go in, and then we'd have a 4v4 scenario and the Blues would start. Okay, so there's lots of different transitions. It's in terms of like having that, for the players, having that will and not to concede. Okay, so if they haven't got the ball, it's putting everything on line, body on the line to stop the ball going in. And then if they win it back, can we transition and score quickly? So it's nice quick movements, okay, quick passes, okay, and then being clinical in that final third. So again, having that composure, but this time under a lot more pressure, okay, because they're not unopposed, they've got players on the back, okay, they haven't got as much time and space, okay, it's more reactive stuff. So the ball could bounce here, okay, the Blues literally win it back, this player goes in and we're looking for a first time finish into the corner, okay, it's how we react, okay, so knowing where the goal is, and if they score, obviously they get an extra player in. If they concede, and you've got more than 3 players, then you lose a player. Okay, so you can kind of play for a few minutes, and then if players are looking tired, have a rest, okay, and then start again. And you can maybe even start it with maybe 2v2 in the middle, or whatever you want to do. You can start with 4v4. You can change it and put different constraints on, but you want it to be nice and tight in here, so the players have got to move a lot, okay, and you get more chances in front of goal. We will now move into our final animation before concluding this week's session. Thanks for watching this week's video. For more content, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok. The links will be in the description below, and we'll see you next week for another Session Sunday.